Today I have for you 22 Dollar Tree DIY crafts perfect for Easter, and we are going to start with this bunny. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I really do love the colors, but I think it could have little better details. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to give this bunny an upgrade. So I'm going to remove the jute string from the top with the beads, the color or the string, the ribbon that it had around the neck, and the bunny tail. And I wanted to highlight those edges. So instead of it being a little darker on the edges, I'm just going to add a little bit of paint. This is Waverly Chalk Pen in the white. And I'm just going to use a little tiny rag. And again, I'm just going to highlight it. But you can skip this part if you don't want to. It's fine. I'm going to give it a few seconds to dry. And this is the mop that we are going to start using. I'm just going to cut two pieces off of it. And this is what we're going to add in the ears. Instead of having the pink metallic portion, I am going to do the dusting mop, and I really think it made a huge difference. So I'm just going to keep cutting and give it that ear shape. And then once I have two of them, I'm just going to start haggling. That's it. Now, working with these mops does get a little messy. You're going to see it throughout the video. But I think it's worth it. It has so much texture and it just has so much good details. I'm going to do the same thing on the other EO, and then we are just going to just trim as needed. That's it. Now, working with fabric scissors is so much better with these dusting mops. But if you have regular scissors, yes, they'll work too. I'm going to replace again the ribbon around the neck with this one. It's just a nice pink one, and we're just going to add it right there, secured in the back with hot glue. I'm going to add one flower right there in between the ears. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it complements the ribbons that we are using. This Easter theme ribbon is from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to scrunch it in the middle to make a very simple bow, and we're just going to tie it in the back and then cut off the excess and hot glue it to the left side of the neck of the bunny. Now, of course, you can add whatever else you want around the ribbon. I thought about maybe adding flowers or greenery, but I kept it simple. I'm going to take some of this white yarn. This is very fluffy yarn, and we're just going to make a pom-pom. So I'm just going to wrap it around this cardboard several times, tie it in the center after I removed it with more of the yarn, and then we're just going to remove the excess, and then we're going to open up all those loops. I think you've seen this before. So then once I have them all open, we're just going to start trimming and cutting as needed to make it nice and round. And this is what we're going to put as the bunny tail. It's just a little fluffier and bigger, and I think it just really complements the ears that it has all that fluffiness. I'm going to add a piece of yarn in the back. This is just so that we can hang it. I'm going to hot glue it and tape it so it doesn't come off or flare. But how gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I think it was so pretty already. But adding extra details, more texture, love, love, love the way it turned out. But let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take one of these stakes. It's also a egg, and we're just going to remove a lot of things from it. We're going to remove the ribbon and these little foam flowers. They're just not my type. And then I'm going to sand it down a bit because it does have a lot of glitter on it. So sanding it smooth and then wiping it well works really good. I'm going to take another one of the mops and we're going to resurface the egg. I'm just going to line it up as close as possible so that I'm not using too much of a second mop, and we're just going to hot glue it in place. Once I have it hot glued, then we're going to take a leftover piece from another project and we're just going to finish that off and hot glue it on the other side. And then, of course, using my fabric scissors, I am going to remove the excess and just trim as needed. All right, I'm going to take more of that Easter ribbon now that everything's nice and trimmed. And I want to make two bows. One's just going to be a very simple one, and then I'm just going to put it quickly to the side while I make the other one. And the other one's going to have the kind of like bow style. And I'm just going to scrunch it in the middle, add the other one to the back, and then join everything together with the pink ribbon we used earlier, tie it in the back, remove the excess ribbon, and then we're just going to fluff it as needed. And then I want to angle cut the ends of the bow. That way it just looks nice and finished. And this is what we're going to add at the bottom base of the egg. And then we're just going to do it with hot glue. Now, again, this is one of those projects that you can add whatever else you want to it. I decided to add greenery and flowers, or you can leave like this. It's up to you. These leafy greens are from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to add a couple, one to each side, hot gluing it towards the back of the bow, a yellow flower in the center, and some of these pink ones on each side again, just so that both sides kind of mimic each other. I'm also going to add these little foam eggs that you can find at Dollar Tree. Just going to add a purple and a yellow one. And again, add whatever else you want, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the new style that it has, and I just stuck it inside a plant, inside the foam. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to take this piece of just scrap wood that I had in the garage. It's pretty thick and big, but it is dusty, grimy, and splintery. So I'm going to use my electric sander and I'm just going to sand it smooth, remove all those things. And then, of course, I want to wipe it really, really well so that everything sticks to it really nicely. I printed out this bunny shape from the computer just on regular paper, and I measured, make sure that I printed it in the size that I needed. And I'm just going to cut it as a silhouette because today I want to do a string art. I have never done it before and I always see it and I said, why not? Let's give it a try. I'm going to take some masking tape and I'm just going to tape the bunny on the bottom left corner of the piece of wood. And then, of course, we want to use some nails. If you are going to recreate this, just use any nails you want. I recommend, I'm using about 1-inch nails, but of course, anything you have may work just as long as it doesn't go through on the other side. I'm just going to keep nailing. I'm not nailing on top of the paper, just barely right outside of the edge. And I'm leaving about 3/4 of an inch in between each nail. Give or take, it's not perfect. And now I'm just going to remove the paper and it just comes off really easily. And we're going to use this gorgeous pink yarn again from Dollar Tree. It's so fluffy. And I'm just going to tie it around one nail, make it a little knot, cut off any excess, and then just start wrapping around the nails. So at first I just started zigzagging and I said, no, I need to do all the way around, like the shape of the bunny, then filleting it. So that's just a little clue there, right there for you, because I was not doing it right. But then it worked out. I kind of got the hang of it. So I'm just going to keep going until the entire bunny is covered, and then just going to end up with a little knot and some hot glue. All right, so now I want to add a little bunny tail. So I'm just going to grab the white yarn from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers a few times, kind of like creating a pom-pom. I'm going to remove it. Some more yarn around the center, tied in a simple knot, just scrunching it right there. And then, of course, we want to open up all those loops, and then we want to cut as needed to create a nice ball shape. And you can make it as loose or as tight of a pom-pom as you want. I'm going to use my Cricut for this part. I just want to create the phrase Happy Easter, and I want the Easter to be vertical. If you don't have a Cricut, that's okay. Just use sticker letters from Dollar Tree. That works really well. Or the carbon paper technique that I have showed you many times before, and then you just can paint over it. All right, so I'm just going to place the happy right on top, and then the Easter vertically along the right side of the bunny. I love that the words are just nice and white and just very neutral because that bunny really pops. I want to add these little felt pads to the bottom. That way, when I am placing it on my console table, it's not going to scratch up the surface. So I'm just going to add 4 of these smaller ones, and then that way it's going to be nice and smooth. And I got to tell you, I'm so in love with this one. I'm going to keep it for myself and it's going to be displayed. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I am going to take some foam board and I'm just going to cut a piece. And I'm going to start making some marks, lines, and cutting with my X-Acto knife. And I'm going to cut it in the shape of a carrot. Now you can make it any size you want. I picked an 8-inch by about 3 inches. And again, just cutting it in that angle in the shape of a carrot. Now I want this carrot to, although you don't have to do this part, I want it to be a little bit on the 3D side and have a little bit of a plush to it. So I am going to add some pillow stuffing as well. And you'll see that when I do that. This is the yarn we are using. I love the muted tone orange. It's not that bright, kind of like Halloweenish orange. I really love it. All right, so I'm just going to hot glue and tape just a little beginning end. And then we're just going to hot glue very carefully the beginning right there just to kind of get us started. And then I'm going to place some of the pillow stuffing. As you can see, I'm just kind of holding it. This is just going to create a little bit of a cushion to make it a little bit more plush. I'm going to do that all the way to the top and then hot glue at the top as needed. Once everything was covered, I did bring the yarn all the way down again and then cut it in the back and hot glued it and secured it in the back. That's it. I'm going to take this fern pick from Dollar Tree. I'm going to add a little hot glue and I'm just going to stick it right through the top, right in between the pillow stuffing and the yarn. This carrot ribbon is from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut 2 pieces of it and then I'm going to loop it as an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle and do the same thing but smaller to stack up the 2 bows. I'm going to add jute string to the center, scrunch it, tie it in a knot, cut off the excess, and we're going to hot glue it towards the left side on the top there. And then for the legs of the ribbon, I'm just going to dovetail cut them. And then one by one, I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue in the back and place them exactly where I want them. Because this is not a wired ribbon, it just needed to be placed exactly where we want it. So a little hot glue goes a long way, and I did that with all 4 of them. And I gotta tell you, what a fun carrot. And the beautiful thing is you can make them in any color and you can make them any size. But let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take this roll. Now this looks like it's from paper towels, but it's not. I actually don't know where it came from. It was at my craft room. It's a little thicker than the normal one for paper towels. I'm also going to use my serrated knife from my kitchen because it cuts through the cardboard really nicely. And I'm going to cut pieces that are 1.5 inches, although you can do 1 inch and it should work well as well. We are making napkin rings and I really wanted them to be about 1.5 inches. Now I made 4 because that's all we need, but you can make as many as you want. These are the color yarns that I am using. I love these. I think they have a great spring and even summer look to them. Of course, we're going to wrap them into the yarn and I'm just going to speed it up quite a bit because of course I don't want to bore you, but basically just add a little glue in the beginning, keep wrapping it around and then hot glue it at the end as well. And then I did that with all the colors. Now, I'm not going to show you all the colors, of course, but here what they are, and there's what it looks like. The magic of video. All right, so now we have the rings made. We're going to take some of the greenery picks. These are from Walmart, I believe. I'm just going to cut off a little bit of the end and then add it to the top of each. Just a little hot glue and placing it right on top. These little foam egg ornaments are from Dollar Tree, and I am so happy that they have in each color of the yarn that I picked. I'm just going to cut off the little string or ribbon, and then I'm going to hot glue it on the top of the coordinating color. These linen white napkins I got on Amazon, and I got 4 of them. I use them quite a bit, especially when I'm staging. And so I'm just going to place 1 in each ring, just basically putting it through. And then, of course, you just want to kind of fan them out on each end. And I think all together, they look so cute, so festive. I love that against the white napkin, they look just so vibrant, so festive. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take one of these faux wooden slices from Dollar Tree, remove all the greenery and all the embellishments, but we are going to keep the little tie on the top. I'm going to roughen it up and remove some of that sheen with my electric sander, wipe it really well, and then add 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in the white, but of course you can use any color you want depending on what style you're looking for. I'm going to put that to the side, and then I'm going to take some foam board and I'm just going to make 2 ears that look like bunny ears. So I'm just going to use my pencil and my blade knife to get these done. And I'm going to use the first one, trace it on another piece of foam board. That way they'll be as close as possible in shape and size. The yarn that I'm going to be using to cover the ears is going to be one I found at Walmart, although you can definitely use the ones from Dollar Tree. I just love the multicolor that this one has. So I'm just going to add a little hot glue at the top and just start wrapping them up, hot gluing as needed. But basically it's just the top and the bottom where you need hot glue. Once I had them nicely covered, we are going to attach them 1 on each side of the little tie. We're going to add hot glue, and once they were joined together, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to use a clothespin to secure them even more in place. So we're going to remove the metal portion, add hot glue to the flat side, and hot glue it and hold it in place. If you have popsicle sticks, that works well as well. But these clothespin work really good because they're very sturdy. I am now going to freehand a cute little bunny face. So I'm going to start with a triangle nose with rounded edges. I'm going to use a permanent marker to create the mouth, some whiskers, and some beautiful eyes. I love the way she turned out. All right, so then we're going to add some rosy cheeks. I added a little bit too much paint, so I'm just going to wipe off the excess, and it worked really well. Now we're going to add embellishments, of course. So I'm going to add some light colored leaves, leftovers from another pick, and layer different types of greenery, including this darker one, and then a beautiful pink flower right there in the center to finish it off. And look how beautiful she looks. Oh my gosh, she's ready for spring, looking like a princess. I love the colors and I love the style. What do you think of this one? We're going to start with one of them. Remove the sticker, and we want to sand it very lightly. This is a 220 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand it in that round motion, and then I'm going to wipe it really well. This is just going to scuff up that surface, remove any sheen from it, and it's just going to help the paint stick to it very well. So I'm just going to wipe it with the rag, and then I'm going to use Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the white, and I'm going to give it 2 full coats and then put it to the side to dry. I just put it down on the floor with a fan hitting on it, and it dries really fast. I am now going to take some of this flexible wire. Recently, I worked with some of this. I got this on Amazon, and I do have it on my Amazon store. It is flexible enough to work with it really good and very easily, but it's also sturdy enough where it will keep its shape. I'm going to shape what will look like bunny ears, and then I'm just going to thread some of these wooden beads. Now, you can get the ones at Dollar Tree, and that will be fine as well. Or you can get one of those Dollar Tree rings that have the wood beads already on it. Cut it in half and shape it into bunny ears. However you want to do it is fine. I'm going to add several to these, and then we're just going to add a little dab of hot glue at the bottom just so that they hold and not come off on me. And then we are just going to add a little hot glue, and then we're going to add a jute string to the bottom just to kind of hold it in that shape. You know what I mean? And then once I have both of them nicely secured, this is what we're going to hot glue to the back of the pizza pan. But before we do that, we want to add some other embellishments and decor onto the pizza pan. So I'm going to take this Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to distress it using a chippy brush. This is just one of those cheap paint brushes, and I'm just going to swipe it almost like a dry brush technique, keeping it in the same direction. So this time I decided to go side to side, and I'm just going to add as much or as little as I want. Of course, you can skip this part if you do not like that kind of look. I'm going to take these wood beads. These are half beads. And I'm just going to hot glue them kind of like on the inside edge of the pan. And I'm just going to do one on the top, one at the bottom. And then I'm going to start doing on the sides. And then I'm going to do the middle portion of each side. And keep doing the middle portion of each side until I have as many beads as I want. And I did want to have quite a bit in the edges. All right, so now that those beads are attached, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to attach those ears. I'm just going to add enough glue to hold it in place, and then again, just hold it until it hardens. And then I'm going to add a lot of glue and some ribbon just for extra stability, and then cut off the excess, of course. And it also looks nice and pretty and finished in the back. All right, so I'm going to do the little loop here so that we can hang it. And then we're just going to add hot glue and some tape. Flip it back to the front, and we're going to use this window cling that says Easter Blessings. I think it looks so beautiful with those colors, and we're going to Mod Podge it in place. I'm just going to add the top portion first, attach the cling, and then do the bottom portion, and just make sure that it's centered. And I added an extra coat of Mod Podge over the design as well as the entire piece. I'm going to take this ribbon from Dollar Tree. It has this beautiful pastel colors, and I'm just going to make a multiple loop bow, scrunching it in the middle, and we are going to tie it with some jute string. And then we are going to place this on the top portion of the pizza pan right there where the ears begin. Everything's looking so pretty. I'm going to dovetail cut the ends of the bow for a finished look. And then just to give it even more texture and color, we're going to add these greenery picks. These are from Dollar Tree. I got these last summer and I had some leftover, and I love this bunny. Oh my gosh. I think it would look fantastic on a front door or over a mantle. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. So I am going to take another pizza pan, remove the paper from it, of course. And again, we're going to scuff it up and remove all the sheen from it. And then, of course, we want to wipe it really, really well. Now, this one I am going to also paint white. I'm going to give it, once again, just 2 coats. That way it's going to be nice and covered, and put it to the side to dry. While that is dry, I'm going to get some things ready here. This is a piece of cardboard that was left over on one of Dollar Tree's calendars, and I'm going to place it in one of the Cricut's cutting mats. And then I am also going to place a little bit of masking tape. That way it's going to hold in place. And I'm just going to cut out 10 little eggs. And of course, you can cut by hand if you don't have a cutting machine. I do want to resurface the eggs and have bright, beautiful colored eggs. So I'm going to use different color vinyls that I have from Cricut. But of course, you can use the ones from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use the machine to cut them because that way it'll cut her exactly in the same size as the cardboard eggs. But again, if you're cutting it by hand, just place the eggs on top of the vinyl and cut off the excess vinyl from the sides. This is going to be a countdown to Easter craft. And so behind each egg, I want to have scriptures that we can then read as a family leading up to Easter and the resurrection of Jesus. So I just went on my computer, printed out several scriptures, and cut them in size that are going to fit behind each egg. And that way, every day we'll pick an egg and read a scripture together. I'm going to take some of this faux turf from Dollar Tree. I think it's so fun. It's a little messy, but I'm going to cut a couple of strips. These are about maybe 1.5 inches, give or take. And I'm going to hot glue, only adding the glue on the bottom portion. And I'm going to add 3 of them. And this is where we're going to add the eggs so that we can grab them from there. I thought it was so cute. Wait until you see it. You're going to love this craft. All right, so once it's attached, I'm just going to place the eggs kind of like in the pattern that I like so that the colors are nicely mixed. And then, of course, we want to write numbers in the front of each egg and also something on the top that says days until Easter, kind of like the days until Christmas. So before we do that, I am going to add here this rope because, yes, you can tell like those edges from the faux turf. It's just not pretty. But adding the rope really cleaned it up, and it's just, yeah, just perfect. So do that and it works really well. I'm going to cut out the phrase for the top as well as the numbers using my machine. But of course, you can use the little sticker numbers that Dollar Tree has for each egg. So I'm just going to place them just like stickers, and I'm going to start at the bottom because of course we want to start with 10 days and work our way down to 1 day till Easter. And then we're going to add the days until Easter right on top. Beautiful, beautiful design. And I forgot to mention earlier, I did spray the entire surface using a top coat. That way the transfer tape was not going to pull the paint. Just keep that in mind. All right, so we're going to place the last little eggs here just so that everything's looking so pretty. We're going to make a swag with some greenery. This is a mix of Amazon as well as Dollar Tree greenery. And then we're going to add jute string in the center, tying everything, securing with hot glue. And we're going to hot glue it to the top right there. And then we're going to keep adding some flowers. These flowers are just from Dollar Tree, different mix, but I wanted to complement the colors of the eggs, and I think these are gorgeous. I'm going to add a rope to the back with hot glue and tape. That way we can hang it. And this is what it looks like. Oh my word. How beautiful is this? It's one of my favorite Easter crafts that I have ever made. I love the eggs hidden in there in the grass, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take another pizza pan. We are going to scuff it up once again using the sandpaper, and we are going to wipe it, of course. Wipe it really well so that paint really adheres to it. We're going to take this one to the garage, and we're just going to spray paint the edge. That's it. We're going to do the edge because we are going to cover the middle anyways. So once I had it, just 1 coat is sufficient as long as it's just fully covered. Once it was dry, I'm going to take it inside and just Mod Podge the center. We're just going to add a layer of about medium-sized thickness of Mod Podge, and we're going to set it to the side, and we're going to use the iron-on technique. These calendars, you know that I love using them from Dollar Tree, and this design is gorgeous. They have them for every season, of course. This one has a bunny, and it looks so sweet and dreamy. So we're just going to use this one to place in the center. I have never Mod Podged onto these pizza pans, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and it worked like magic. So I'm just going to place it with Mod Podge, and then using the little tip of my Cricut mini heat press, I'm just going to press onto those corners, and it worked. I'm telling you, it worked really well. So I'm going to keep doing this until the entire thing is covered, And then using my X-Acto knife, I'm just going to cut off the excess. All right, so we are going to flip it and we're just going to add a little bit of jute string to the back, again with hot glue and tape so that we can hang it and it'll be nice and secure. And then once that's set, then we're going to then add some more embellishments to the top. Once again, we're going to create a little swag. This is the same greenery from Dollar Tree and a little bit from Amazon. Tie it in the center with more of that jute string. And then we're going to hot glue it to the top portion of the pizza pan. And then, of course, we want to add more things. So I'm going to add this ribbon. This is just a packet that I got, I think it was online from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to cut off a piece, but I am going to melt those edges so that way it's not going to kind of flare on me. Now, I wish I would have done this bow bigger. Like after I saw it, I was just like, it looks kind of small. You tell me though, what do you think? Do you think it could have been better, bigger? Let me know. And then I'm going to add some flowers that complement the design and color, and it's gorgeous. And some of these little Easter eggs, again from Dollar Tree, just add a few here and there just to add more texture in that Easter design. And I love the way this one turned out. Those colors and the design of the calendar is stunning, but I'd love to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take another pizza pan, of course. And yes, we are going to scuff it up and remove the sheen. And we're going to wipe it really, really well. For this one, we're not going to go white. What? We're going to go with this light green color from Waverly Chalk Pen. And once again, we're going to do 2 coats. And we're going to set it to the side to let it dry. This is another one that we are going to bring together those traditional Easter colors and Easter eggs. But we're going to bring scripture and the true meaning of Easter. Using my Cricut, I cut out the phrase, He is risen, and then the RISEN. One each letter is going to be on each egg. And this is a little garland that I found at Dollar Tree and is really cute. I just removed one of the eggs. And then the He is going to go on the top. So we're going to place the eggs first. So I just kind of want to line everything up. And we're going to start in the middle so everything's lined up nicely. And we're just going to hot glue it to the surface. That's it. And then we are going to cut off the excess string and we're going to wrap it around the back and we're just going to tape it on to the pizza pan. And then of course we want to add the He is to the top portion. And also I did spray this pan with a top coat just to seal everything in, and that way the transfer tape is not going to pull off the paint. I also didn't push really hard on the transfer tape. That's why it's kind of pulling the letters, but then I just pressed it with my fingers and it's no big deal. All right, I added a longer rope to this one with hot glue and tape. And once again, you guessed it, we're going to make a swag. It's just so much easier for these. We're going to secure it with jute string in the center and we're going to hot glue it to the top. And I did add some florals to complement the entire design. How cute is this craft? Oh my gosh, I love the little banner. I love the color combinations, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Wood round. I use these all the time, and although they are a little thin, they're perfect for quick and simple crafts. And I'm just going to start with this one. I'm just going to quickly remove the jute string, and then I am going to resurface it using one of these wallpapers from Dollar Tree. They have them year round, and I love all the designs that they have, including this one. It has more of a planked look. I am going to kind of just place it where I need to, make a few cuts, and it's just like a sticker. You just want to peel off the back and then place it on the surface. You just want to flatten it out. And then it didn't cover all the way down to the bottom. So I'm just going to grab the leftover, cut a couple of pieces, and just join them together, making it look very natural. I'm going to do the same thing, just remove the backing from it, and then apply it there. Now to remove the excess paper around the wood round, you can use an X-Acto knife. You can also cut it with your scissors, or you can use a sanding method, which I prefer. I use my sanding electrical sander because it just makes it so much quicker, and it makes it smooth and flush to those edges really quickly. I'm going to use one of these wood bead rings that you can find at Dollar Tree as well. Now, the one I'm using does have the round beads, but it's basically just a ring with beads on them. I'm going to cut it directly in half, removing 2 beads from each side. Then I'm going to open up the other side, and then we're going to create little bunny ears with each side. And because both ends are nice and looped, we can just looping through each other, and that way we can tighten it with the pliers. Once I have one ear made, I'm just going to shape it into the size that I want, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. Then it's just a matter of just hot gluing it to the top of the wood round. You can use any other glue as well, but hot glue is just a quick set. I'm going to add some to the back of each ear and then place them right next to each other. Now we're going to keep it really simple. We're going to bring one of these flowers. These are from their autumn and fall collection, but I think the one I'm going to use has such a great one for spring as well. I'm going to remove the little clip that comes with it, and I'm just going to hot glue it right there in the center at the bottom of the ears. And then I'm going to add a couple extra little flowers just to add a pop of color, but I do want to keep it in that pink tone. These are from Dollar Tree as well. I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and then place them right there on each side towards the bottom. And then I'm going to add some greenery for that pop of color and also just add fullness and a lot of texture. And these are also from Dollar Tree, but of course, this is the type of craft you can customize to whatever style and design you want. On the back, so that we can hang it, I'm just going to add a little piece of this white nautical rope from Dollar Tree. And one side was really frayed. The other one already had tape, so I'm just going to tape the one side. But look how stunning and how quick is this craft. You can make this in any combination of colors, but I'd love to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take one of these foam eggs you can find at Dollar Tree currently. I'm going to remove the tag and also cut off a little bit of the bottom portion just to flatten it out so that the egg can stand nice and flat. This candle holder is from Dollar Tree, and you can find them in the candle aisle every year. I'm just going to hot glue the egg right on top. Really easy. Of course, you can resurface or paint the egg if you want, but I wanted to keep the pop of yellow because I thought it was cute. I'm going to take this burlap ribbon. I'm just going to cut it into smaller, thinner strips. They're about 1-inch strips now. You can use any ribbon you want. I wanted the ribbon to be nice and neutral. I'm going to join all of them together, and then I'm just going to tie it around the base of the egg, just like that. And again, I'm just going to make a very simple knot, although you can make a ball if you like. Once it's nice and knotted, I'm just going to cut off the excess ribbon from the bottom. Just whatever you want to cut is fine. And then I'm going to bring in more of those pink flowers from earlier, cut off most of the stem, add a little bit of hot glue, and we're just going to stick them right into the foam because it works really well. And I decided to add 2 of them just for fullness. You can add 1 if you want, or you can add a combination of different style ones. I thought 2 looked really pretty for the size of the egg, and that's it. I gotta tell you, these crafts are so easy. I love the way this one turned out. You can add this on a mantle, on a console table, wherever you want. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take a leftover towel from another project that I had from last year. I'm going to fold and cut as needed because I want a 10-inch piece for this next project. And I'm just going to cut again any pieces that I don't need. We're going to mark in the center with my ruler, and then we're going to diagonally add glue. So from the outside upper corner all the way to the center portion of the piece, just like that. Make sure that it's fully attached, and then cut off the excess. Get as close as possible to the glue without cutting the glue, of course. Now we are going to flip it inside out, and you're going to see that we have a cute little carrot shape. That's what we're making. So I did one of them, and now we are going to just thread some of this white jute string into a stitching needle, and then just thread it in and out in the top portion of the carrot. Make sure that you start and end with the string on the outside. Once it's completely in there, then we are going to fill the carrot with some pillow stuffing. Use a pencil. I used a pencil to get me in there right in the corner. The rubber band, or like the eraser, really helps with pushing it in. And then just keep adding until the entire thing is filled. Once you have stuffing in there, look how cute that's looking. Please ignore that it's backwards, okay? All right, we're going to pull the string and tighten it, but not too tight because we want to add greenery. We're going to add hot glue and just keep adding. This is from a pick from Walmart, but you can use the picks from Dollar Tree if you have that on hand. Just add as many or as little as you want. And then once you have them hot glued, flip it over to its back or to its front so that you can tie it in the back and then tighten it as much as you can. And then make sure that you cut off the excess. And then I did the same exact thing on a second one. I know I went over everything, so now we are going to speed it up just as a review. So we just cut off a piece, added glue diagonally, cut off the excess, flipped it inside out. Then we're going to thread the jute string in and out on the top. We're going to fill it with some pillow stuffing. We're going to tighten it slightly. We're going to add some greenery with hot glue, tie it in a knot, cut off the excess, and now you have two very cute upside down carrots. Perfect for Easter decoration. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. And we're going to start with this one. It's a wall planter, and I just love the size and how really good quality it is for $1.25. I'm going to remove the jute string from it, and then I attempted to remove the sticker from it, but it was not happening, so I just gave up, and we're just going to cover that later on. I'm going to take this towel from Dollar Tree. You can find these in the automotive aisle, and I have used these in plenty of my crafts. I'm just going to cut the seam from it, remove that, and then just cut the towel in small little strips. Usually I do about 2-inch strips. For this one, I decided to do about an inch strip. Then I'm going to do just enough to be able to cover the ears as well as around this bunny wreath form, also from Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to do the ears first, and I'm just going to go around and around, hot gluing only as needed, making sure that I'm tugging and tightening as much as I can. Then I'm only going to cover the outside 2 metal wires from the wreath form, not the inside one because it's not needed. It's going to be covered anyways. All right, so I sped that up really fast for you because it's really repetitive. I'm just going to remove some of those fuzzies, and I think it's looking so adorable. All right, so I'm going to place the metal wall planter right in front of the bunny wreath form, and then we're just going to insert one of these zip ties from Dollar Tree through the 2 little holes that was already on the metal box, and then hot glue the remaining of it onto the towel. I'm going to remove the excess zip tie, and then we're going to use more of that towel to cover that front. You can also paint it if you are able to remove the sticker. You can also add paper or whatever you want. It's up to you. I thought we'd just keep it in the white theme because it is a bunny after all. All right, so I'm just going to hot glue it in place and then cut off at the excess with my scissors, and using fabric scissors work really good. I'm going to take this foam ball from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut it in about half, and then we're going to insert them inside the pocket. This is just so that we can add florals and they'll stick to it. Then it's time to just add all kinds of fun florals. These faux boxwood I do get on Amazon. You get a whole bunch in a pack really inexpensively, and I do have it in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. It is linked below. I'm going to cut one of the picks just separating the little picks, and then we're just going to start inserting them onto the foam, making sure that they are nice and evenly spread. And then I wanted to add a pop of color. Now, of course, you can add whatever else you want. This is the fun part. You have a blank slate that you can add whatever you want. I had these leafy greens left over from the fall season from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to use a couple of those, and then some of these pink flowers again from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using some regular flowers. I think it's just keeping it in that pink theme. It's just really fun and very, very smooth and gentle. Then I'm going to take some of these little foam eggs that you can find at Dollar Tree. They come in a pick. You can use any other eggs you want. You don't even have to add these if you don't want. I just think it adds to that Easter theme. And then we're going to take one of this ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to make a very simple bow. It's going to be like a 3-loop bow. And then I'm going to tie it in the center using the leftover portion of that towel that we cut off earlier. I'm going to tie it in the back, and then I'm just going to hot glue it on the top of the floral, right in between the ears, just right there. That way it's just going to add a nice fullness right there and texture. But how adorable is this? Oh my word. You can even add greenery that kind of falls through. I just think it would be gorgeous. The possibilities are endless. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take one of these little metal kind of like stand sign. I don't know what it is, But I think the possibilities are endless. I'm going to wipe it really well. And then I'm going to use some of this rub and buff in the golden tone. I do get this on Amazon and I do have it in my Amazon store. I'm just going to use a little rag and then just distress those edges just to add a little dimension. These little boards come 6 in a pack at Dollar Tree in their wooden aisle. I'm just going to sand it smooth, dust it really well, and then we're going to attach that portion onto it because that way it'll have a larger frame or a larger base. This wooden cross is in their wooden aisle, and I think it's so fun, especially for the Easter season, to craft with. I'm going to Mod Podge the top, and like we did earlier, we're just going to set it to the side and let it dry. I'm going to iron a piece of this fabric from Dollar Tree just to get it nice and flat, cut it a piece, and this is what we're going to Mod Podge on top of the cross. But before we do that, we have to paint the base, although you don't have to, but I do want it to be white. So I'm just going to give it one coat of the Waverly Chalkman in the white. You can also remove the metal portion from the screws in the back if you don't want to paint like real close to it. I was able to get it close enough. But anyways, we're just going to set it to the side to dry. And then while that happens, then I'm going to attach the fabric onto the cross, set it on top. I did remember the parchment paper this time, and I'm just going to iron it. Now you can always cut off the excess with the X-Acto knife with like we did the tulip. But this one I wanted to do it from this angle because I wanted it to leave a frayed look. I don't know if you like that style, but sometimes a little fray. I think it looks really cute and organic. So I'm going to do it this way, but you can always cut it very flush to the edges. And that's what I did with the cross. And I really like the look it has at the end, and you'll see it. All right, so once that's that, we're just going to attach the cross right there to the metal portion. Just center it as possible and hold it. And again, be careful because the metal gets hot. I'm going to make a cute little swag using the faux boxwood again from Amazon. I'm just going to place a few facing each way, and then using some of that leftover seam from the tile, we're just going to tie it in the center, roll it around and secure it with hot glue, and then we're just going to attach it in front of the cross. It kind of fits right inside underneath. And then we're going to add an extra few little boxwood pieces just to add fullness because I feel like it needed it, and that way there'll be smaller ones facing upwards. Now I want to keep this pretty neutral, so I am going to add some flowers, but they're just going to be white little tiny ones that I found. I believe these are from Walmart. I don't quite remember. I'm just going to add a few on each side and then a larger one, just I guess a little flat one, larger one right there in the center. And this is just going to finish everything off. But of course, as I always say, you can add whatever else you want, any design, any color. You can stain the cross, whatever you want. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Dollar Tree carries these foam rings, and you can find them in the crafting aisle or the floral aisles, and they're so fun for crafting. I'm going to start with one of them. I'm going to remove the sticker from it, and then we are going to take this flexible wire. I get this on Amazon, and what I love about it, that is flexible enough to move, but yet sturdy enough to create a shape. So I'm going to take a piece that's going to be about 30, maybe 24 to 30 inches long, and then I am going to cut 2 of them because we are going to make bunny ears. So once I have them cut and nicely straight, I am going to just fold them in half, and then we are going to shape them what will look like. At least try to get them to look like bunny ears. I'm going to then just kind of place them where I think I want them, kind of poke a hole right through it, add a little bit of hot glue, and then place one of the sides of the ear. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side and do the same thing with another ear. Dollar Tree carries these tiles in the automobile aisle, and I love using them for crafting, especially for bunnies because why not? They're fuzzy and it's white, and I think it's perfect. I had this one already used. I'm just going to tear it into, or cut it into 2-inch strips, give or take. It does not have to be perfect. Now that part right there, like the end seams, I like to cut it so that way it looks nice and fuzzy. I'm going to start in one of the ears and work my way around the ear, through the center, and then around the other ear. And then I'm going to wrap the entire ring. Now I'm going to speed it up for you, of course, because it's very repetitive. But there's a few things that I want you to remember when you're doing this. Hot glue only as needed. And then just make sure that you start and end towards the back of the bunny. That way, you're not going to see those seams in the front. Other than that, just make sure that you are tightening and pulling as needed. That way it's not going to be loose and moving around, but it's going to be nice and snug onto the ring. All right, so now that everything's nice and covered, look how cute it's looking. We're going to flip it over to its back and we're going to give it a nice hanging hook. So I'm just going to take one of those seams that I cut off earlier from the towel, loop one end, cut off the excess and hot glue it to the back in the center of it on top. Then I'm going to add another piece of the towel just to cover it and also add stability, just like that. All right, you want to do this before you add any florals because then of course you don't want to flatten the florals. Now Dollar Tree carries these little fabric rolls. You've seen me use these, and I'm going to use this very neutral gray and white one for the ears. I want the ears to actually have a center to it. So I'm going to open it up, iron it out just a little bit, and then cut off a piece that I know is going to give me enough to cover both ears. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to add hot glue to the back of the ears, and then I'm just going to place the fabric right there on top. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess nice and snug as close as I can behind the ears. That way you won't see that part. This really made a huge difference in the ears. So now that we have the bunny nice and built and it's looking so cute, I am going to take several ribbons as well as this mesh, and then I'm just going to make a very simple bow. I'm going to add the deco mesh in the bottom, then burlap ribbon in the center, and then a nice Easter style ribbon on top. Tie it with more of that leftover seam from the towel, and then we're going to wrap it around the top portion of the ring. I inserted it in between the little loop to hang it. And now I'm just going to add some greenery and florals and Easter eggs. And this is where you can have as much fun as you want, friends, literally. Because the bunny is all white and just neutral, adding the pop of colors with all the florals, the ribbon, and the Easter eggs is just so much fun. I am going to add this last egg here, and I tell you what, oh my word, this is such a beautiful wreath you can display, whether it's in your front door or over a mantle or anywhere in your home. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take another one of those foam rings. Now this one broke on one end, right, like where the seam was. And at first I thought, oh, I can just hot glue it together. And I could have, but I decided to just cut it directly in half. And then I'm going to flatten out the two ends on the other side of the curved portion. Hot glue them together and tie them with some jute string. I'm just going to loop one end of the jute string, place it around the center, place the string right through the loop, and then just tighten it and then tie it to itself. This is just going to keep it nice and snug. I've never done anything like this before, and I thought, let's just try it. Why not? All right, so I'm going to cut one of the pieces of the fabric that we used in the earlier project, and I'm just going to cover those ends. I just don't want to see that green end. So I'm just going to attach it first flat on the outside, and then just kind of curl them upwards with hot glue, and then cut off any excess. And then we're going to wrap the entire thing using ribbon. You can use rope. You can use any other ribbon color you want. I wanted to keep it in the Easter spring theme. So I'm just going to use the same one from earlier. And I'm just going to start on one of the ends, making sure it's nice and flush to the corners and the edge. And then we're just going to wrap around half of the X. We're just going to call it an X. And then the other half, hot gluing only as needed. And just like we did with the bunny, you just want to snug it. So you just want to pull it and tug as needed. All right, so now that everything is covered, it's time to just start adding some greenery. And I had these ferns left over from last summer from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to add them right there first. And then we're going to add one of these little gnomes. These are meant to be hung like on your porch and it had a little bell. So I'm just going to remove the bell, add hot glue to the back with the jute string and tape. And we're just going to wrap it around the center. And I think the colors complement that ribbon beautifully. Tied in the back in a simple knot. And then we're going to add florals again, just behind the gnome. Again, this is just optional. You can leave it just like is, but I just wanted to add a few more florals to it just to add greenery and a lot of texture. To be able to hide the little hole on the gnome's hat because it was bothering me, I'm just going to add a little flower with hot glue. And I think it's adorable. It just really complements the whole design and you'll never know that there was a hole there. So I'm just going to add these greeneries right there. And I did add a loop to the back using this jute string just so that we can hang it. And again, I'm just going to hot glue it and add a little piece of ribbon just to secure it in place. And that's it. Very unique. And I love the way it turned out. The colors, the textures. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another one of the rings and check this out. Dollar Tree has this faux turf rolls in the Dollar Tree Plus section. Oh my word, I grabbed two so quick and I've never worked with it. I had no clue how I was going to use it, how it was going to work out, but we're going to cut off a piece and my goal is to wrap the bottom portion of the ring with it. So at first I thought, could it be as simple as just wrapping it? No, it was going to look messy. So then we're just going to go with the same technique we used with the bunny earlier, cutting it in about 2-inch strips and then wrapping it around. And this worked really well. You just gotta glue it, hold it until it hardens, and then keep doing it until you wrap as much or as little as you want. That's exactly what I did. And then the remaining of it, I'm just going to wrap it with ribbon, but I thought about keeping it very neutral. So I'm going to use this ribbon that I got on Amazon, and I'm going to overlap it on the edge, maybe about 1/2 inch, just to clean off those ends. And then we're just going to keep wrapping it around. And like we did with the bunny, again, tug and pull until it's nicely wrapped and secure with hot glue as needed. These bottle brushes are at Dollar Tree. They have these beautiful pastel colors, and I'm just going to cut off a piece of this one and hot glue it right there to the center. These little wooden bunnies came in a sign. I'm going to remove the little tail that it had and give it a larger one. And I'm going to cut out pieces of this ribbon just to kind of cover those little holes on the bunny ears. And I did that on all 4 ears. Then I'm going to take these skewer sticks and I'm just going to cut off about maybe 3 inches of the pointy side, hot glue on the back, poke holes with my little screwdriver on the sides of the tree, and then place it right there with hot glue. I did the same thing with the other one, but this one's going to be on the other side and a little further to the back. And then I'm going to repeat the process, but basically just to add florals. I'm just going to poke holes and add florals as needed. I added some more of those Easter eggs, and then I'm going to take these little carrots, remove the little paper kind of greenery it had, and replace it with this faux boxwood. I think it looks so much better. Look at the difference. It just elevates the look of it. And then I'm going to add it right there on the left side. I'm going to add more ribbon to the top. I'm just going to wrap it around the top, hot glue it in place, and that's it. You can add lights to this. I think fairy lights would be beautiful. I love the colors, and again, that faux turf, oh my word. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take another ring, remove the sticker, and wrap around this burlap ribbon I had left over from another project from like 2 years ago. I don't remember, but I used it. All right, I'm going to just wrap the entire thing. You can choose any ribbon, any fabric, anything you want. I wanted to keep it kind of in the neutral tone, so we're just going to wrap it around, securing it with hot glue. I'm using my little silicone finger protector. This is just going to really protect my fingers. And once it was completely covered, we are going to take this cute bunny stake. Oh my word. I kept saying to myself, look how cute. Oh, he's so stinking cute. Anyways, so we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna cut off the excess steak by denting it and then snapping it. I did cut off enough, or I left enough so that it goes through the foam, but not all the way through. So we're gonna use my small screwdriver, make a hole, add hot glue, and then add the steak. And just push him in all the way in. Now he's nicely attached. All right, we're gonna take this greenery pick again from Walmart, but use whatever you have on hand. We're going to make little holes with my screwdriver and then add the greenery, keeping that circular shape towards the top. And I did the same thing with several greeneries. Again, this is one of those things where you can keep adding as much as you want. I didn't add any florals, but I am going to add some moss right there towards the front and just kind of shape it and hold it until you kind of see what you want. We're going to place these right on the front, right there on top of the moss, and then we are just going to hot glue them in place. Now, I didn't add any ribbon towards the top, but you can do that if you want. But look how stinking cute. Oh my word. I love these stakes. Let me tell you, they are up there with one of my favorite items to craft with. Let me know what you think of this one. Especially this one. How gorgeous is this design for $1.25? Beautiful. All right, we are going to start by removing that sticker from the bottom. I'm going to use my heating tool just because it makes it easier. Just kind of scrape it off. And then it does leave that sticky residue. So I'm just going to use Goo Gone and I'm just going to wipe it off. It does leave a greasy residue. So just wipe it off really, really well. For this one, we are going to take a ribbon. Just take any ribbon you want. I took this one because it fits nicely in that curved portion at the bottom of the vase. I'm going to hot glue it to itself tightly, and then we are going to cut off the excess. This is going to give me a nice fabric texture for the moss that I'm going to be placing and hot gluing on top. I want to line the entire bottom of the vase using the Spanish moss. You can use the one from Dollar Tree. This one I got at Amazon, but I have not seen it on my Dollar Tree recently. All right, so I'm just going to keep adding hot glue and adding Spanish moss all the way around. You can also use green moss if you have that. That's fine. Now I'm going to make sure that it's not towards the bottom. That way my jar is going to be nice and flush to the surfaces, and add more Spanish moss right inside. Now we're going to take this cute little bottle brush tree you could find during Easter in a pink tone. Remove the bottom base. I always keep those because I use them for other crafts. I removed about 1/3 of the bottom of the tree and added it inside. This cute little sign has tons of bunnies, and I love that it had that, but now it has these little tiny holes on the ears, so we're going to cover that up. I'm just going to cut off a small little piece of that same ribbon to match the design or the shape of the ears and hot glue it to each ear, and that way that little hole is going to be covered. Now I want the tail, although it's really cute and pink, I want it to be white and a little larger, so I'm just going to use one of these pom-poms and just attach it right on top, just like that. How cute! All right, so we're just going to add a little hot glue to the bottom of the bunny and place it right there in front of the tree towards the right side. I want to add some Easter eggs. These are just some foam ones, and they have little speckles. I'm going to add one of these, add a little hot glue to the bottom, and with my scissors, carefully hold it and place it inside, as well as this nice pink one. I think it complements the pink in the tree very nicely. This rub and buff is a golden tone. I get this on Amazon, and you can use this to stain in a golden or metallic kind of golden style. And I'm just going to do the upper rim. I think it just added a nice, elegant look to it, and it really brought everything together. This is such an adorable craft you can make for Easter season. I love the color scheme, but of course you can use any color you want. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take one of these wine bottles from the aisle at Dollar Tree. And I love that it has nothing on it and that it's clear because it's great for crafting. I had already removed the sticker from the bottle because this was left over from another project that I did. Now, it did have residue, like sticky residue from the other project, but it does not matter because we're going to spray it with adhesive spray, and I only did the bottom half of it. We're going to take this golden leaf. If you've never worked with it, it's really fun, kind of messy, but it's fun. And I'm just going to start applying it. And I had started very motivated. And I was just like, I'm just going to add one leaf at a time. Oh, no. It was taking forever and a day. So I said, you know what? We're just going to start adding a whole bunch at once, letting it attach as it will. And that's exactly what I did. I just kept adding gold leaf. And then once I had as much as I felt like it needed it, there it is. I just added a whole ton. And then once I wanted it, then I just started removing, kind of pressing down and then removing any excess leaves. And that way it's just going to be nice and flush. Now, I will admit this is a very different style that I'm going to do, and I would love to know what you think of it. All right, so now we're going to take some of this moss. I think this is reindeer moss. I had a leftover from other years, and we're just going to start adding here and there on that golden portion. I don't have much, so I'm going to try to make it work and just keep adding, and I want it to look very natural and organic. So I'm just going to add hot glue and then just keep adding until I kind of see what I like. All right, so I'm just going to add this last few here. I'm just taking the smallest pieces that are left over, just trying to make the most of it. All right, so now I'm just going to add rope to the remaining portion of the glass. Now, you don't have to do this. You can leave it as is. You can add ribbon, whatever you want. I just thought adding the rope would add a lot more texture and just that natural feel to it. I removed some of the moss that was kind of like seeping through above the line where I placed the rope. And I'm just going to add hot glue as needed, specifically in the beginning to hold it in place, of course. And then in the part where it kind of curves, where it goes from the widest to the smaller portion of the bottle. But that's it. Just add hot glue as you need. And I'm making sure that I'm starting and finishing each rope in the same side of the bottle. That way, all of my seams are towards one side, and that can be the back of my bottle. And I'm going to speed it up quite a bit here for you because it's really repetitive, but I do want you to see the entire process. All right, so I'm just finishing up here, wrapping up the bottle, and then we're just going to take another one of those little bunnies. We're going to thread some jute string, and we're just going to tie it around the bottle. I just thought it looked really cute. It matches the design, color scheme. It just gives it that nice Easter look. But of course, you can skip that part. I love how this turned out. It is so different. Let me know what you think. I won't get offended, but let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to start with one of these Easter hats that you can find at Dollar Tree every spring season. And they may even have it right now. I'm going to remove the tag as well as the ribbon. It did not take much effort to remove that ribbon. Neither does removing all of the strands from this hat. Just find where it begins, cut that off, and literally just pull it. It takes no effort at all. Just keep pulling it until it's all pulled. Of course, you can use as much as or as little as you want and then just save the remaining. It does leave this like clear thread behind. Just pull it off and throw it away. This beautiful jar is from Dollar Tree and I love the design. I removed the sticker, of course, and then removed the sticky residue and wiped it really well. And then we're going to create the cutest little Easter hat on this jar. Yes, an Easter hat. So just like you saw an Easter hat and we tore it apart, we're going to create a mini sized one on this jar. And I cannot wait to show you how cute this turned out. So I'm going to start wrapping the top portion of the jar, just basically how you would any other. And then when you get to the next level, you just want to do it a little lower. So just so you're here, just do it a little bit lower than the other level, just like that. And just pull as you go so it's nice and snug. And I'm going to do this until I kind of see what I like. I don't need it to be too far down, but I also want it to have enough of that top portion. So I'm just going to keep doing this. And now, once I get to the portion where their hat kind of flares out, that's the part where I'm going to slow it down just a bit so that you can see. So I'm going to cut it off, making sure that I attached it with hot glue. Then I'm going to fold the thread kind of like in half, creating that L shape or a V shape. And I'm going to do that until I have enough where I know it's going to wrap around the jar. And then I'm just going to add it on that one side. So you see how it has going to keep a ledge open for me. We want that because that's what we're going to attach the next level. So it gives me that nice flare for the hat. So I'm just going to do that all around. And then I'm just going to make sure, you see how I'm just lifting up? Now I'm just going to add hot glue right there and then add more of the thread with the hot glue. And this is going to give me that nice hat look. And I'm going to do that a few times until I kind of like what I see. Look how adorable this is looking. Oh my gosh, it's a little baby hat. Okay, so now we're going to add some ribbon around the hats. I'm just going to add this pink one because I think it's cute. I'm going to add hot glue and I'm just going to pull and tug as needed, attach it with more hot glue, and cut off the excess. The remaining, I'm just going to make a bow. So I'm just going to make 2 little loop ears, cross that around each other, and then just make a simple bow. Pull and snug and fluff as needed, and then hot glue it to the back of the jar. And then cut off any excess so it's not dangling underneath the jar. To the front, I'm going to add this cute little flower. It has a gorgeous tone to it. I'm going to set it right there towards the right side of the front, and then a couple of leaves just to add texture and color. You can add flowers to this jar. You can add candies. I don't know, but it is adorable and it's my favorite. I would love to know what you think of this one. It turned out so adorable. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I am going to take this tiny little jar from Dollar Tree. It's so cute. It even has its own little hanging robe and a golden detail, which I love. And of course, I'm going to remove that bottom sticker as well. And then we're going to use some of these moss balls that you can find at Dollar Tree. We're just going to put all of them. I don't know how many I use, but depending on what jar you use, you can use as many as you need. We're going to fill it up all the way to the top. Now we're going to add some bright flowers from Dollar Tree. These are gorgeous. The color, it has like this coral pink. I'm going to add 3 of them, but again, add whatever you want to your jar. Now at Dollar Tree, I found this little aisle section here with Easter eggs and bunny banners. Oh my word, these are so cute. They come a ton in a bag for $3. I'm going to remove just one of them, the one from the front, and just removing the ribbon. Really easy. All right, so I want to remove the little bunny ear portion, so I'm going to actually remove about maybe 1/3 of the actual foam ball. And just be patient. It's not easy to cut. Just cut as needed. All right, now I'm going to shape it again into a nice ball, and we're going to add tons of hot glue to the bottom. And we're going to place it right there in the front of the jar. This is going to make it look like a little bunny is digging inside the jar. You're going to see what I'm talking about. I had this little pom-pom ball left over from another project. I'm just going to hot glue it right on top like it's the little tail. How cute! All right, so now we're going to take some craft paper. This is on the thicker side. If you don't have any thicker craft paper, just use poster board. It's fine. I'm going to freehand what will look like a little paw, and I'm just going, or like the little feet. Are they paws or feet? Maybe feet. All right, so I'm just going to cut it in the shape that I think a little feet will look like, and then cut as much as I need until it fits the size that I'm looking for. And then I made it 2 of them. I'm going to paint pink the little portion of the bottom of the feet. How cute. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just using a paint marker, and I do have these on my Amazon store as well. Once I have them completely, we're going to attach them facing down, okay? So we're just going to add a little bit of hot glue towards the top, and then just place them right there. Hot glue to the little bottom of the bunny, and we'll do the same thing to the other one, just because that way it looks like, oh my gosh, how cute. He's digging inside the jar, maybe for little carrots. Do they eat carrots in real life? I think so. Look how cute this looks. This would be a great craft to do with kiddos. I love the color scheme. I love the little moss balls, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I have another video here for you with tons more of Dollar Tree DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.